KICKASSETS. Cha-ching.
Hey, so I just got back from work and I'm kind of feeling tired today, but I just thought I'd click record on this video and, so I thought maybe today we could talk about, the growth of the deciduous trees in the northwestern United States. So, that's why you clicked on the video, you saw the title in the thumbnail and you start rambling on and on instead of like, hey, what's up, guys? The deciduous trees in the Pacific Northwest.
No, I don't believe in wasting.
Are fucking sick, man. They're popping off right now, and I just can't wait to show you. There's maples, there's fucking pine trees. It's gonna be so sick. So stay tuned and watch this video.
This guy's nuts.
You gotta turn that on. Give them 10, 20 seconds of something exciting, and it's like, I fucking love pine trees. Hook me up.
This is going to be my intro to my video.
I fucking love pine trees. Let's go. Pacific Northwest. Get me in there. Seattle, Redmond. Let's go, baby. I'm moving to Portland, Oregon right now. Let's fucking go. And just give them to pop off and just you get them in there and then you can open up the bio.
Okay, this is the real Adam I knew was inside you. Because this guy hasn't sworn since I've met him and he's just sworn like 4 or 5 times in the last phrase. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Just kidding. Hey. I'm here with
Adam.
And where are you from, Adam?
I am from Massachusetts.
Good. What are you doing here?
Just buying a house.
Just another day.
Actually, just bought a house, rather.
Actually, yeah, we're in the house
We're all
right
done.
now.
We're in the house.
Yeah, you hope you enjoyed the tour of the house. He seemed to be really happy with it.
Very happy.
This is the first time I've ever done a house without the person seeing it, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
First time I've ever bought a house without seeing it myself.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy thing to think about. Not even in your own country as well, right?
Yeah, thousands of miles away.
Overseas like that, crazy. Plus trusting a total stranger to get it all done for him. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't worth the money to go play at a casino or something, not worth it. Maybe if it's $2 million, I'll think about it.
Maybe if we bought some Dogecoin instead.
Yeah, damn it. Maybe next time. Just kidding. But no, you're happy and...
Very happy. Yeah, super excited. And just walking up to it, getting that little bit of excitement, I get why you have so many properties. So like and then you see it, and especially when it's works out this nicely, you're like, I can see why you would just want to keep doing more.
Yeah, you get the itch, especially when I help people buy houses. I start looking, you get the itch to want to buy other houses, You wish you could have them all.
Yeah.
Especially as you get experience from my perspective, when you start getting better at knowing what's a good deal or not, you start looking at every property. Is this worth it? What can I do to make this have value? Stuff like that. Because you got junk, medium range, really good properties, and then just take it. So, and these are the 2 you want. And sometimes you can justify getting these, but these you never get. So even when you start questioning these areas of like ones that need work, but you see the potential in them, your creative juices just go nuts, right? Mm-hmm. Especially being here. But this is the one property. He got lucky. This video will come after my purchasing number 17 property, which this will be the 4th house in my series. And I'll label it maybe the gem or something, or a gem, because it is a gem. I would have picked this up off the spot, but I found another property I really loved as well, and I can only have one, unfortunately. This one, personally, I should have got this one because it's close to my house. But I've been looking for parking in a property for a really long time, and that house had parking, and it was near Omiya Station, which I don't have a property there. So I wanted to get that off the bucket list. I had to get the bucket list done. Now that's why it was my last property I said in my video. So sorry I repeated the tour, but why not? So you were lucky to be there at the right time.
Yeah, I feel lucky. It was wild, when we first called you up, and then just like, hey, I think we sent you a link to one property and we were like, oh, I'm not sure about it. And we're like, do you have any ideas? And I think this was the first or second link you sent us. And we're just like, this seems like a crazy deal.
Yeah.
And you cut us we were like, can we get a little bit more footage? You cut us a video that night.
Yeah.
And then when we saw that footage in the morning, it was like instantly, okay, this looks like a perfect deal.
I'm glad you thought that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people have cold feet and they're like, nah, it's too good to be true or whatever. But the truth is that, no, you have to judge what's a good deal by yourself. You just have to know right away. Because if you think like that, like we talked about earlier, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities, because you have to, like you said, it was proactive, the word you used. So, yeah, you got to do that. or else you're going to miss on those chances. And that's the hardest thing I find for people when they're looking for houses, especially in new areas. It's a lot of money, right? Not comparatively to your country, but
yeah, I mean, general, it's right? Like any choice in life when you're like, could be like buying a car, could be, just moving across the country or anything, like switching to a new job. It's one of those, every time you do it, I really feel like every time that I've made one of those big decisions and I was proactive about it, things were just better. Yeah. And I never regretted doing it.
Wow, you think just like me.
And it's
100%.
Like so many times, and like the few times in my life that I've sat there and like, maybe I shouldn't do this. And like that's where all the regrets are.
Yeah.
Is when you just don't act on it. And just like, in the very least, you have to be very careful about assessing that risk.
Yeah.
Because you could absolutely screw yourself by just getting in over your head and, too much leverage. But if you don't worry about, if you're careful about that, you won't ever reach the heights if you don't take some risk. And life, you have one life, it's very short, take advantage of it when you can.
It's my twin here. 100% agree. That's exactly what I keep trying to teach people. Some people will take it as a sales pitch or bullshit in life, like this. They look at the negative sides to things or what could go wrong. But unfortunately, there's risk in everything. Yeah. You just have to be a good troubleshooter and figure out what the risk isn't versus reward, etc. like that. But it's not like you're buying a loaf of bread from the store. Like you can just, I don't need to eat it. So it is a big purchase, but at the same time, you have to take those risks, like you said, to get somewhere.
I don't have a single successful friend that always played it safe. Like, I don't know a single person.
No, you know me. Yeah, it is kind of funny how you say that, because my first house in this area was just the same thing. A random agent called me up saying, "I want to look at some properties today." And I happened to just move to the area because my school's near here. I used to live somewhere else to save money. But then I'm like, I want to be close to my school. Rented a one room. And the agent's like, "Come see some houses." I'm like, fine. I'm here. Let's go out, drive around. And it was just one house, maybe a 10-minute walk from here. I'm like, this is how much? You know what? I made a joke in offer, like they're not going to accept my offer. And they accepted. And I could have had cold feet, said, ooh, I could have backed out. A lot of people would have backed out, but I'm like, you know what? Let's go for it.
Let's do it.
And then just, it snowballed from there, which is something you can never predict without just jumping and taking a leap of faith sometimes, because it was, like I told you earlier, I sold my condo and I had some profit left over. So I had $100K in cash saved up. And when that property came up, my first property, they were asking like $8 million for it, right? And I put a bid out for $6 million just for a joke, because I didn't really understand housing here at the time. So I was just getting into it. And when they said yes, I guess that changed my life. But having the balls to actually put that offer out there, like in your situation, it's the first step, right? And this is your first property as well. So I don't know where it's going to lead you, but you got to take that first leap of faith to get to that goal. I know I'm giving private information here, but whatever. Like that was a property a long time ago. It was non-rebuildable as well, like this property, but it wasn't in bad shape, but it needed to be renovated. So I spent maybe 2-3 million yen renovating that place, but it was totally worth it, right? Finding a house for under 10 million yen near Tokyo is just insane. Where I'm from, houses are over $1 million, and how much where are you from usually?
Oh yeah, I mean minimum you're looking at like $600-700K for like a decent house.
And that's American.
That's American, yeah.
So that's like $1 million Canadian or $1 million here.
Yeah.
That's like 10 houses.
Yeah.
Or more here. So, yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking to get into real estate, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know how this is going to go. I just opened the door.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you from experience from when I started where you were and what happened to me. But the key was the first step.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yep. And if you're looking to get into it, this is way safer than you can make another. Granted, everyone's situation is different, but if you're looking to get into real estate, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars no matter what.
Yeah.
This is a safer bet than
low risk.
It's much lower risk. Like worst case, what I imagine is maybe fail to rent the place for, hold it for 3 to 6 months, fail to rent it, put it back up on the market. Even if you sell it at a little bit of a loss, you lost $10,000. Like it's so low risk compared to
very low risk.
Yeah, compared to like Canada or something.
Yeah.
You buy it and then you're sitting there holding the bag forever.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of like international investors. They bought all the real estate around it. It's all dead because they're not actually renting it.
Yeah.
They're just holding it because they're laundering their money internationally, and they're holding it in Canada and Australia, and they're ruining the real estate markets.
Oh, you know your stuff, my friend.
Yep.
And then they all suddenly decide to sell, and the people who bought overpaid for their properties are
you're
stuck holding the bag for $200K. Oh, I just lost $200K on my property, but I can't sell it because I got to owe the money on the mortgage, and I'm screwed.
Yep.
So
I was working in Connecticut in the financial industry when in 2007, 2008. Like I was there when the crashes were happening. And before that, I was actually in La Jolla, California, working with Lucent and Qualcomm in the 2001 bubble crash. Like I have seen these cycles over and over again. And when you see these crazy prices and you see it in real estate happening again in Canada and Australia, you got to be very careful about that. And if anything, I would be more confident about Japanese real estate because it's so steady.
It's steady and it's already low as it can get.
Yeah,
right?
It's as low as it can get, and we're seeing like a little bit of it going up in certain places.
Yeah.
And it can't go lower. So
buy low, sell high. It's pretty simple.
yeah.
But like you bang on about Australia and Canada, that's 100% truth. And you try telling people that, oh, it's just the way it's supposed to be. It's like crabs in the bucket. They just follow, whatever's happening at the time. Like when I bought in Vancouver, it was low. Oh, it's supposed to be like that. It went up. Now it's supposed to be like that. So what is it? But it's just Japan was in a bubble at one point. Now Western countries are in a bubble. There's reasons behind it. You can justify it any way you want, but you're still taking a risk when you're buying stuff, overinflated stuff like that. Because if it crashes, you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So one of my friends who may see this video, he bought a house in Vancouver for 1.65, and I think he ended up selling it for a little bit less because he just wanted to get out. It was just too much overhead and he was stressed out by it. But buying a house for, 165 here, 1/10 the price or even less, you won't have that pressure. Even if one of my houses burnt down, I'd be like, oh well, part of doing business. But if $1 million house burned down, you'd be like, oh, your whole life's ruined.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, very apropos with what's going on in California right now.
That wasn't planned. Sorry about that, boys. True enough. Yes,
Yeah.
He's from America, so he knows. Yeah, but in Vancouver, similar things, right? Or floods. Any reason, it's part of life. Stuff happens. It's sad, but it happens, and you have to prepare yourself for these things. Especially you on your one property. I own 17, so the odds of something happening are a lot greater for me. But when it happens, I've given in.
Yeah, and your risk is distributed as well.
Yeah, it's just life. I'm going to die anyways. So just enjoy the good moments when they're here and appreciate them and build a solid ground where you're not just randomly bullshitting and, what's the word? Getting out there and investing, like taking mortgages on 10 properties and yay, and oh, now I got to sell them all? You're broke. So I take it slow and build a solid foundation so that if something does happen, it won't wash me away. I'll just get back up and continue on. And that's, you bought a house for cash. So you're safe that way. It's just like rolling the dice, It's not like the odds of something to happen are very, very, very low, but it's just part of it. So, and we feel sorry for the people in California. The houses in California are quite expensive. So yeah, like you're aware of the situation in other countries, and that's exactly why I always say investing in Japan is the safe way to go. And not only that, it's a great country.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, a big motivation for me is that this is now my 12th. It's either my 12th or maybe even 13th trip here. Like I've been coming to Japan for about 10 years now. And I really enjoy the food and the culture and all that. And I actually was not really interested in Japan until I came here on a whim. Like a friend of mine just said, you really should go. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll go to Japan. Like I come from like a video game background and all that. And I was just kind of turned off by the whole weeb otaku culture. That's not my thing.
Me too.
And
Me too.
yeah, it's just very, like the young immaturity type of stuff, just not into that.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of turned me off. But then I was like, okay, I'll go anyway. And yeah, just like I really like things being clean. I like them being efficient, on time, polite and respectful, and just amazing food and everything. Just like once you've actually been here
And
then
safety.
The safety and everything. Just
Yeah.
like, oh, you can just like leave your bike. You know, you don't lock anything up.
Did
you
you
don't
notice I did it at the restaurant?
Yeah, just leave your bike just sitting there against the wall.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. $3,000 bike still there.
People in Starbucks will just leave their laptop and their wallet on the table, go to the bathroom. Just such a different feeling culture and so welcoming. Like it's
priceless.
Yeah, it's a totally different way of living, and of course there's all the assimilation of the culture, and there's all that you have to be careful about that. But just been coming here for like 10 years. It's just such a wonderful place, and I want to spend a lot of my future here as well. Yeah. And so why not also invest here, and then that also
build towards that.
Yeah, build towards that. Longer term, I do want to buy more properties. Ideally have between probably 2 and 4 rental properties. Who knows? Maybe I get up to 17 as well. But
hey, it's not impossible. I'll tell you that. I did it.
Starting just get between 2 and 4, and then also have my own vacation home here.
Yeah.
And start kind of conservative, live here like 3 to 6 months a year.
Just live life.
Yep.
There's no need to have like your 20 years planned ahead of time. Plan 3 and see where it goes, and you'll fork off to different areas, right? You just learn as you go. That's what I've been doing as well. I didn't plan on buying 17 properties when I bought my first one. Mm-hmm. I thought maybe I'd get 3 or 4 like you. Ooh, I was wrong. So, yeah, it gets addicting. But coming from a different world, you appreciate these things. I grew up in Vancouver, and you just expected the way things were around you, and you thought that's what it was all about, until you come to another place, and you're like, oh, it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually have a safe environment. Things can be affordable, all these things here. And I fell in love with that. Like you, the same thing. We're very similar in those things. And that's the part I didn't like as well. I wasn't into the manga and all that different stuff. I came here because of girls, but also just the feeling of when I was here, It wasn't any of those things that I had to go there. Actually, funny enough, I was actually planning to go to Korea because, like you, I was into StarCraft. And when I started teaching English in Vancouver, all my students all played StarCraft. And I was already playing it at the time. And they're like, you know StarCraft? I'm like, of course I know StarCraft. We played together, and they all started going back to Korea. And I'm like, maybe I should go to Korea. And I was actually studying Korean and planning to go. But then I started dating Japanese girls, and they were amazing. So one thing led to another. And I came here once just to visit for a working holiday for 1 year, and I fell in love. And I haven't been back. So... because you don't know the things until you're actually here, So maybe God drew us here for a reason, whether you breathe out of the universe or something. He just guided us here, because you never know. Because like you said, why else would we be here,
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people just play life too safe, and there's so many. Like when I mentioned on a chat server with my friends, I was like, I talked about buying this house, and they're like, well, aren't you pretty happy with where you are? I'm like, yes, where I am is perfectly fine, and I think I would be perfectly happy with that. But the world is huge. It is so big, and there's so much.
The world is huge.
Yeah, like it wasn't until like the first time that I came to Japan, I think it was like 10, maybe even more than 10 years ago. But so I was like 30, 32 before I ever really left the country. Like I'd been to Europe once, but Europe's like half America anyway. Okay. First time I went to Asia, somewhere very, very different. And it really opened my eyes to like there is such a wide variety of the way that humans can be and can live and organize. And it's worth experimenting. Like if your whole life you grow up just eating your mac and cheese, and you're like, I like mac and cheese. Yeah. But then the first time that someone gives you, some curry or something.
Yeah, I never had Indian curry until I actually came to Japan. Yeah. Funny enough.
First time you had it, you're like, oh, okay, I still like mac and cheese, but it's not my favorite. There's some really cool stuff. Or like you have a burrito. Like you just have mac and cheese, and then you have this awesome burrito. Yeah. There's just so much out there, and I think if you have the opportunity in today's day and we have so many opportunities in 2025 for. No, it's crazy. Like 100 years ago, you're not leaving your little village. Yeah. You have so much opportunity now. Granted, not everyone has access to this, but if you do, I think you are you're selling yourself short if you 100%. Don't take advantage of it.
And you'll get to the point where mac and cheese becomes garbage.
Hey, we don't want to shit on the mac and cheese and
I know. I still like it, but I haven't eaten in years. But there's a point, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. The stuff you thought was staple for your life, you realize actually, I don't like that anymore. I don't need it.
Yeah.
You know, I love my butter chicken, Indian curry rice, or whatever. You know, different random foods, different variety here than what we're used to. But no, it's cool that we have similar paths like that. I didn't know that. Learn a lot.
Yeah, I was actually going to move to Korea as well.
Oh, really?
In college, I was one of the top Warcraft 3 players.
You're Warcraft on StarCraft?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
So I played Brood War. I played Brood War in high school, but then Warcraft 3 came out when I was in college.
Yeah.
And I was actually, in the United States, you know, Koreans are on another level.
Yeah.
But in the United States, I was one of the top 10, top 20 players. And there was actually a top Korean player. His name was Showtime.
I know
and
him.
he was playing on all the different servers. He came onto the US East American server, and I actually scrimmed against him a little bit. And he was like, "Hey, you're really good. You should come to Korea and try out, and I can get you, I can get you a contact with my coach, and we can talk." And so like I had an offer to go to Korea and actually try out to play on their team, but I thought about my future and did I really want to, like, I knew what the conditions were like living in those bunk beds, and like it's a really intense life, and I just didn't really want to do that with my life as much. It was very tempting. I was very close actually to at least trying out. But I was a big Warcraft 3 player.
That's hilarious. We're kind of distancing on a different game because you're how old are you?
I'm 42.
Okay, so you're 6 years younger than me. So that makes sense. So was that when I was in BCIT studying computer science?
You would have had Brood War.
Yeah. I was original StarCraft.
Yeah.
And then Brood War, and that's when I started playing with those Koreans. It was just that generation. So you got the next one up. So I never really got into Warcraft 3. But I was in Warcraft 2. That's what got me on the chain. It was actually Warcraft 1, then Warcraft 2. I played when I was going to BSc, and then second year BCIT was StarCraft. That's when it all happened. And Diablo at the same time. So I was right there at that time. The golden age of Blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that was fun. Fun times. Like, yeah, this company's going to do great.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's really neat. So for me, it was StarCraft 2, and for you, it was Brood War that got us to Asia. Mm-hmm. Same thing. I mean, I played StarCraft 2 with the Korean guys, and they were surprised I was able to kick their ass too, like as a white guy. But I wasn't also aware that the game was huge over there. Like, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, GSL got pretty big. I mean, if anything, StarCraft 2...
But I was playing 1999, right? So...
For Brood War? Yeah.
Yeah, when things were just starting to...
Yeah, so my friend who's Korean, he actually did, he wrote a paper he is Korean, and he wrote a paper on like the rise of StarCraft as an esport in Korea and like why it happened. And I actually did a presentation for a company based on my friend's research, like talking about that, and actually doing a comparison between fighting game culture in Japan and StarCraft culture and PC bang culture in Korea. Okay. And I did like a little comparison essay for a job interview. Funny
enough, I just watched that YouTube video last night on the growth of that stuff in StarCraft. It just popped up on my YouTube, and I just clicked on it and started watching. Oh, it's interesting. Like, I kind of knew about it before, but yeah, watching in detail is like, it's phenomenal since you've been through that stuff, so you can relate to it. You know, that time when it was fun. Did you actually go to Korea at all to play some games?
No, I actually, the first time I went to Korea was 1 or 2 years ago for my friend's wedding.
Oh, wow. So you've never actually been before that. Okay.
I had not been before that, but my friend, we went to an arcade, we played Street Fighter 3, and then we went to a PC bang and hung out there a little bit.
Yeah, my first trip was before I came to Japan, I stopped over for a couple nights in Korea, and all night StarCraft in those little internet cafes. That was quite an experience. All night, 4 versus 4, against real Koreans. I loved it. Mm-hmm. I fell in love. Like, why am I grow up in Canada? Just maybe live in such a bubble when I realized that there's more out there. You know, there's so many things. Like, could you ever imagine after school going to an internet cafe, spending your whole night there playing video games? Like with other people?
I mean, I grew up in fighting game culture. So we actually had in New England, it wasn't really big, like particularly compared to like
Street Fighter?
Akihabara. Yeah, Street Fighter type of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I played a lot of Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, Capcom vs. SNK, games like that, Marvel vs. Capcom. And yeah, we had arcades around, and yeah, that's what we did. And actually, me and my friends, we actually had a stack of Dreamcasts that we killed. We played so much that we had like 10, 15 Dreamcasts that we had killed because we wore them out. And we used to we would get organized groups of friends would come over and just hours and hours to like 4 or 5 a.m. every night just playing Street Fighter.
Yeah, but this was at your house.
Sometimes at the house, but we would go to the arcades as well. And then when the arcade would close, we'd go to our houses and play.
Because these are things in Korea, they're 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
So I just 6 a.m. and we get whatever Korean food is. It was the life.
Yeah,
you know,
we went to like the arcade at the mall. And
that's what, I mean, I did that in Canada as well, but it wasn't the same as a cafe, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, gaming culture, unfortunately.
Especially networking it.
In North America, it's really... It's kind of being held together by the fighting game community, though. Like, they organize pretty well. Like, the biggest fighting game, or the biggest esports event in the world is actually EVO in Las Vegas, which has, like, I don't know how many people, hundreds of thousands of people show up, and they get in this gigantic... It looks like a football game. Like, thousands and thousands of people lining it, just, like, being in this gigantic stadium, watching people play Street Fighter. It's pretty awesome.
Did you ever get to be part of any of that stuff?
Yeah, I've been to EVO 3 times.
What'd you do when you're there? You actually play games or
Everyone. So that's the beauty of the fighting game community is if you go, you're probably going to play. All those people sign up, like thousands of people sign up.
in a competition.
Yeah. And so there's for like the first 2 days or so is the group stage, is the pools. And so then you're going in the big convention hall and there's just hundreds of machines set up. And you're just going through the pools and you try to make it out of your pools and then you make it to like top 64. And then when you get to top 64, they start putting you on the stage and they're, showing you in front of 100,000 people. And
okay, so there's more to it than they actually show on the stage.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. There's thousands of games going on at a time.
Wow.
And it's
what's the competition like? Pretty heavy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the best in the world. I mean, you're playing for $1 million purse.
Like for you, when you joined up, you're like, I kicked this guy's ass. Like, holy shit, he kicks my ass. You know, like how like you.
Oh no, I mean, I've been playing fighting games for like 25 years now. Like, I know how good I am compared to other people. I'm pretty good for my local area.
For a white guy? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, the Japanese players are
they
usually some of the best. Yeah.
So what's the best you've ever ranked or done?
I mean, the best that I ever did at EVO is I made it out of pools, like I think technically top 64.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe top 20, 128. I don't know how big it was at the time, but I mean, just making it out of pools is pretty good. And I took one round off of K-Brad, who's a pro player, so I'm happy with that. In Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it's probably my best achievement is taking a round off of K-Brad.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know this about you.
I mean, you start talking about video games, I can just go forever.
My best was Sega Genesis. The NHL hockey.
Yep.
I used to kick ass at that. Man, I wish we had tournaments back in the day on that stuff. I would have destroyed them. I used to beat people like 64-1. Just like score. Like I know my stepbrother used to call it the twitch finger. He'd get angry at me. Stop winning. But that was my generation.
These days, like the 8 to 10-year-olds they're on another level.
Yeah.
Like you look at the NES Tetris actually is one of the most competitive.
Oh, the record breaking stuff.
The record breaking stuff for NES Tetris. Yeah. And there's this like I don't know. He's like 13 or 14 now, and they have this technique where they'll wear like a soft white glove, like cloth glove, because they don't want any friction, and then they'll use a hand because your thumb's actually too slow. They'll tap with their fingers on the back of the controller. So because it's so fast, it's faster than a human can tap with their thumb. You have to like, if you want to like tap 4 times, they do this. They just tap 4 times on the back of the controller.
We're talking next level stuff here,
folks. It's crazy. And there's like these 14-year-old kids that are just like setting records. Yeah. Anyway.
That's insane. So did that lead you somewhere?
What, video games?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a really good segue. Well done. Yeah, so I was I trained as a programmer, got a degree in software engineering, computer science. I'm a computer scientist. You don't want
same. What did you program in your age?
I mean, I've done everything. Like, so my college that I went to in New Hampshire, they actually really believed in teaching fundamentals.
Okay.
So they started us with just C. On a Unix machine. Okay. Just raw C. The first day, the instructor walks in with a thick manual, and this is how you use VI. Yeah. Like VI is like the old school editor.
We were doing C as well. That's what I learned.
But then we had
C++ or whatever.
Yep. And then we had to write an assembler and disassembler based on a paper for a theoretical assembly language from like 1940. So like they really wanted us to know like the computer science fundamentals. And then I actually specialized. The word means something different now, or the term means something different, but my minor was actually my specialization was actually in artificial intelligence.
Cool.
But
I thought about taking that.
Yeah, modern AI is such a different direction from what I learned. Like I learned traditional AI that was more going for AGI or general intelligence.
Yeah.
Modern AI, what people call it, is more just of a Lexer or it's basically autocomplete on steroids. Like it is really, really impressive, but it is just autocomplete on steroids.
Yeah.
And that might get us eventually towards an AGI, but might not even directly get us
didn't go
there.
the direction I thought it would be going.
Yeah, it's a very different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I specialized in AI, and I did a little like capture the flag with these like a multi-agent system. So it was basically kind of like an early neural net. We called it Blackboard back in like 2003. It was called blackboarding. And so I had a multi-agent system that actually had to capture the flag with an objective. And so it would run a simulation thousands and thousands of times until it learned how to do capture the flag and bring it back. And you could tell, like, based on the map layout, who would win after running the simulation. And that was what my paper was on for my degree. But yeah, anyway, I learned that. And actually before that, I co-founded a company in high school, a mobile video game company. And that's basically what allowed me to afford college. Like I actually started a company and we sold it, and the proceeds from selling it is how I paid for my own college.
Wow.
Got a degree in computer science. And then after that, I've worked in everything from the gaming industry to doing data science stuff, everything around the educational software. And then, starting around the beginning of COVID, I started uploading. I also obviously play a lot of video games. In a video game that I play, Path of Exile, I made a build guide and I uploaded it to YouTube, and it did very well. Relatively, it got like 4,000 views. And people told me I should start streaming and start making YouTube videos and all that. And 4 years later, I have been now doing that full time for about 4 years now. And that's, my career's, hi, I'm Adam, I'm a YouTuber, recovering streamer.
He's covering into my business. We have the same thing. Buddy's told me I should make a YouTube channel. I did the same thing as you. That is insane. We have similar paths, but a little bit different. It's like a different flavor.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Funny.
It is really funny. He's doing really well for himself too.
Doing okay.
You have like what? How many subscribers? 80,000?
80,000. Yeah.
80,000? What's your YouTube channel name, by the way?
Subtractum.
Adam
Subtractum.
You get that joke? No? Nobody does puns around here? Come on, wake up, people. Can you spell that for them?
Subtractem.
Thank you. You got it? Subtraction, add them, subtract them. No? Okay. Sorry. It took me a while. That's really cool. The funny thing is that when you, I say you, your significant other messaged me, but either way, as a pair, they messaged me, was like pretty much within a day or two of when I started watching Path of Exile 2 videos, because I was looking for a game just to play, have some fun, because I've been playing StarCraft forever. I wanted something new. And that just popped up. And then it turns out he's like a pro at it. What are the odds of that? It's like, that's the universe, God, that's a sign. Every house client I've helped, there's always been a sign involved, just to let you know. So that's your sign right there.
Because I'm a PoE streamer.
That is just insane to think about, right? Like, holy crap. Okay, so please continue on. You just posted a random video? That's how that got started? Or?
Yeah, and then I've just been building it up since then. It's been a real wild journey it's a lot of work. For a while I was doing daily videos, streaming 8 hours every day. If I wasn't streaming, I was playing the game and thinking about what the next video was going to be. It's a really interesting discipline, you could say.
You do, but I guess you were different in this situation that you were trying to make a living off of it in a way, as well as doing. Whereas I'm not really doing that. I'm doing it because I just enjoyed it and because people asked me to, and now I'm kind of addicted to doing it. It's fun, but the pressure. I can understand the pressure of how to want to get viral or get bigger. So in saying that, how long did it take you to grow? Like, where would you say your biggest pop was? Did you have like go 10, 20, 30, or was there a point where you jumped? Like right now, I jumped up to 3K pretty quick. Now I'm slowly getting up to 4K, and I'm trying to get 10K. Like, how long does that take?
It's all different. So for me, I made a video explaining the crafting system in Path of Exile is a 2-hour plus video. And that video was basically what catapulted me.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I don't want to like brag about being humble, but I don't consider myself being particularly.
That's one of my best qualities. I'm very humble. Him too, apparently.
But I don't personally consider myself that successful. There's always someone bigger. There's always
there
someone
is, but
successful.
you're doing well for yourself. It's okay to pat yourself on the back.
I'm doing okay.
It's you can't live like this all your time.
No, I'm not. I'm just realistic.
I'm here to do that for you.
I'm just realistic about how how things
agree.
actually work. But yeah, I made one video that happened to do very well. It has over 1 million views, and like over 10,000 of my subscribers are from that one video.
That's crazy.
I wish I could recreate that success. But yeah, I've made 500-600 videos now in the past 4 years. Just really, really grinding at it, and it's really just work at it. You gotta. There's so much luck involved. There's so much hard work and trying to build a community and connect with people that you have to really enjoy it as well.
Yeah, and you got to care about your people, right?
Yep. I mean, you gotta build up that way. And the other thing is you just have to be realistic about it that, nothing is forever. And, it's such a weird space.
It is.
To think about. It's just like.
All I want personally, I mean, I assume the same for you, is I just want to be respected by my people who are watching my videos and appreciate what they're getting. I love learning about interesting people and why they get to where they're going. It's really cool. You can learn a lot from that. Yeah, it's free information. People are going to learn. If they don't want to learn from it, that's their choice, but that's how you learn, through other people's experience, mistakes, so you don't make them, right? That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to teach people not to do them. I didn't make that many mistakes, to be honest. I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything. I got lucky in that sense. Troubleshooting skill I have, whatever it is, but I learn along the way that you can learn some things from even the worst of people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
There's always some nugget.
You can learn what not to do. Yeah.
Exactly. You can learn what not to do. So, for you, when you're doing this, did you meet your expectations being a YouTuber like you are now, like being 80K people? Like you don't have to give me financial numbers if you don't want to. But
I wanted to be about twice as big as I am right now.
Okay.
At this point. So, actually where I am right now is going into 2025, I am now talking with some people to at least do part-time programming gigs because... to be more apropos to the topic of why we're here is I want to more seriously do something. Like at the end of the day, 42 years old now, I still love video games. It's been one of the biggest parts of my life, but I don't have the stamina or drive to dedicate my entire life just to that pursuit. And there's so much more that I want to do with my time and to free myself up with that. And so what I'm planning on doing in 2025 is actually picking up some part-time programming and contract jobs and using that to fund more real estate in Japan.
Okay.
And
so you want to build your funds faster is what you're saying?
Yeah, I want more money. I'm already 42. Time goes by so fast.
It does.
Once past 30, time just... It is scary.
You're telling me I'm 48.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
If you're 30 right now and you're just like, oh yeah, 20s were really fun. Yeah, that's gone, man.
Yeah.
And the 30s will just they will disappear. You will wake up 40 tomorrow. Yeah, you really will. So
yeah, and you'll sneeze and it'll be 50.
Yeah,
trust me.
And your back will hurt.
Yeah,
you sneeze, your back hurts, and then you're 50.
Tell me about it. I dread about it every day. That's why I'm trying to. Even referring to the YouTube stuff, life in general, you're trying to appreciate more of the good parts of life.
Yeah.
Because you realize at the end of the day, you take nothing with you, and you can't even recall what you did, right? So just
the pharaohs are still in that pyramid with all their gold.
So you just want to enjoy it, within reason. Appreciate what you have in your life, right? So.
Yeah, I don't want to sit I still enjoy my time playing video games in front of the computer, but I don't want to do it as much. I actually much pre-COVID, life was so different pre-COVID. Yeah, it's just there's two big eras of life as pre and post-COVID. Yeah. And I used to rock climb very regularly. I used to travel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to travel and rock climb, and I was much more of an outdoorsy person.
Wow.
And
you completely changed.
Video games were always a very big part of me. But I used to skateboard, snowboard, rock climb. I did all that stuff. I was a high level gymnast when I was younger.
Wow.
And And so like that part of my life, and also very, very into fitness. Like I did amateur bodybuilding actually after college. So that part of my life, post COVID, I kind of went down more of like, okay, I'm streaming, doing video games and all that. And it's also a profession that rewards, encourages, and requires you to just really dedicate your whole self to that. And like the most successful people in that space, they sit down and they will play the game and stream and make videos for 12 to 16 hours every single day, just sitting in front of that computer and playing. And I've done that many, many times in my life. But now, I reflect like, okay, I am 42 years old right now. When I'm 46, when I'm 50, do I want to be spending 16 hours a day of my life making my back and my knees worse, sitting there just like grinding, like making my wrist hurt, just like clicking a game over and over again? I just don't see that being very fulfilling.
No. And you age exponentially too, by the way.
Yeah.
It happens really fast.
Yep. And it'll just keep getting worse and worse. And I just, I see the other people in that space. And I see the other people in that space, like how unhealthy they are as well. And I've also really been a health conscious type of person. And, now that I have to be very, very careful about that, I've fallen into, into the post-COVID world of just, I have a standing desk at least, not a walking desk. But anyway,
That's hilarious.
It's not, even if I were twice as big as I am doing what if I was making twice as much, that would be like just enough. But for the amount of money that I'd be making for that effort, because I'd have to be working twice as much too.
Yeah.
So we're talking like 12-hour days, at least 6 days a week, if not 7 days a week, at the computer.
It's like a grinding.
It is an intense grind. And actually what happened when Path of Exile 2 released last month, I stayed like the first launch day, I started the stream at I think 2 p.m. and I streamed until 7 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a full stream. And then like I slept 4 hours and then I did it again for like the next 3 nights. And there were people that did 40-hour streams, like nonstop.
Did it affect your health at all? Or?
Yes. So from talking so much. Anyway, like even if I'd have to work twice as hard to make twice as much money.
Yeah.
And the quality of life wouldn't be there for what I would want versus, programming. I still want to make content. Like,
you want to diversify your skills in your jobs, right?
Yeah. Also, making the content for fun, I still would want to make some money from it, but making it for fun would also give me that flexibility of not having to look at the numbers as much.
Yeah,
it would be more fun again. And then just taking that financial pressure off of it, being able to use that excess money to then invest into the real estate here, that would be the dream. Yeah, so
it does take time.
And then the goal would be, if anything, once we have a few properties, and that would give us like a nice base foundation of income monthly, in addition to having paying jobs as well, that then could start thinking about actually building up like a retirement plan and all that.
You can do whatever you want. That's the whole point, right? I still teach English.
Yeah, I would still want to do something, but then I would want to do it like 4 hours a day.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I do. I teach English today for 2 hours. I taught 3 hours yesterday. I do 3 hours tomorrow. 8 hours a week.
Yep.
It's just like my kids love me. They have no idea about this stuff here, so I can't tell them that. I don't need the money, but I just like, hi everybody. I still do it.
Yeah, it's fun to be connected with people and just
keeps me humble.
Yeah,
for
just
sure.
Do what you want to do.
100%. Do you know? There's another guy named Adam, a YouTuber. He's not. I don't know if he does YouTube or not anymore. He does Twitch. I can't think. StarCraft with a guy named Jeff. They do Lag TV. They're from
Lag TV. That sounds familiar, but
Life's a Glitch TV. They're from was it New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. That's where they're from, and they do StarCraft 2 games commentary.
Okay.
So they do will cheese fail, when cheese, stuff like that.
Okay.
And they're still doing that now.
Yeah. So I was really into StarCraft 2 when it first came out.
Okay.
Like, I loved Wings of Liberty. I hit Grandmaster Top 500.
Yeah. Okay.
When it first came out.
Wow, good job.
Yeah, I was a pro. I actually played in a game developer league. That was when I worked at Zynga. I worked on Farmville, actually.
You worked on Farmville?
I worked on Farmville. Yep. I lived in San Francisco and I worked on Farmville. That game.
You sucked my life.
That game was pulling $10 million a day.
Really?
Yeah. Farmville was making disgusting money. Just milking all those moms. They're little mommy milkers.
Wow, I played it a little bit, but wow. Played a couple of those little games in the early days.
Those
Zynga games, yeah.
Zynga in general was making, I don't know, $20-25 million total. Because they had a bunch of games too. They're making $20-25 million a day.
That's nuts.
That company, yeah. They had like 2,000 employees at that point when I was there. They were just pulling in so much money.
That's crazy.
But yeah, we did this. It was called the After Hours Gaming League. And I don't know if you know who Day 9 is.
Yeah,
but
I know him.
So he actually casted one of my games in the league.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I've had him. I wish I had a recording of it, but yeah, he did a commentary of one of my games. And I think I won it. So
yeah, Day 9 and a couple of those guys and Jeff and Adam were like
okay.
They're famous. They're really good at it because they have good chemistry with each other.
Yeah, no, I
Canadian
love,
group.
I love Day 9. Luckily, he is actually doing. So he actually got out of. He refused to do any Blizzard related game for a while because Blizzard was a real bad company for a while, right?
Okay.
And then when Bobby Kotick finally left the company, he said, "Okay, I'm gonna support Blizzard games again." Yeah, Bobby Kotick is this like disgusting CEO of Activision.
And Husky StarCraft.
Yep. Husky, DJ Wheat, all those guys.
Yeah.
Yep. I was really into watching GSL with Artosis and Tasteless and all those guys.
That stuff is addicting. They're such good commentators too.
Oh yeah. Tastosis was the god tier. They were so good.
Well, who's the guy that died?
Machine.
Machine. He was my favorite.
Was that Machine or I think Machine was his name. Yeah, he was a
big chunkier guy, blonde hair,
guy,
big guy, big character, really good.
He was really. I met him.
You met him
at PAX East.
Here we are, connections, sixth dimension. What was it called? 6 degrees separating us.
So I think his name was Machine. Really, really nice guy.
Yeah, he seemed like a guy.
He actually played a show match against Idra, who was the Zerg player.
Yeah, I remember him.
And he beat Idra, and Idra punched his keyboard.
Wow. Now, I remember him. He was my favorite commentator.
Yeah, he was a really sweet guy. Yeah. He was really into Warhammer.
He looked real. Like he's like somebody I could be friends with, like a real dude.
He was a super nice guy. Yeah.
That's insane. What a crazy small world.
Yeah.
So I was just saying, the two guys I took, Jeff plays StarCraft. So he gets a lot of followers and he grew really fast and did a lot of stuff. So there's a comparison. But Adam only plays the game he wants to play on Twitch. So he knows if he did StarCraft, all these different things, he'd get a lot of people watching him. But he knows that. He always mentions it, but he'd never sacrifice himself. He always played what he wanted to play.
So I mean that's the problem for me.
And he got tired of that, but he still does it.
That's the thing is if you want to do it professionally, if you get known for one game and that is your specialty, you just have to. Like I love so many other types of games, but I can stream Path of Exile and I'll have like 400 viewers. But then I stream any other game and it'll go to like 150.
That's exactly what he was saying.
Yep. And
it drove him nuts.
And the thing is, you just have to realize that's just the way it is. Like, and you'll have your core viewers will always be there. And the thing is, if you do it long enough, you'll have enough core viewers. What you need to do is you need to supplement it. So you have to work harder. So you have to stream like your main 6 hours or whatever. Yeah. You have your main StarCraft block. Yeah. And then 2 hours before, or maybe an extra stream, like 3 hours on a Saturday. Okay. Then you add in you pepper in
the variety of stuff. That's an interesting idea.
And so you can warm people up to you playing other games. Like one of my favorite streamers, his name is AceU. And he was known for playing Apex Legends, which is a shooter game. And he has very, very good aim. He's super chill personality. And what he did is he would play Apex for like 4 to 6 hours. Then he would go off stream, get dinner, whatever, and then come back and he'd do the night stream. So just like the lights would be off, it'd be dark room, and he'd just play like a fun story game or something. And just his chat would come back and they just like joke, and very different vibe.
It's a good variety of doing that.
So that's what you have to do. Like if you will lose your audience if you just refuse to give them what they're looking for, but you can warm them up into doing something else, and like no matter what, they're still gonna want you to play your main game. But you can warm people up, and like I guess eventually you can get big enough. The other option is just be entertaining, have a good personality. Like there's different ways that you can do it. Like honestly, at the end of the day, the biggest streamers these days are all entertainment based. It's not about the game. It's not about watching you play the game or anything. It's just like, are you a good improv?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't watch Jeff Adam for the game. I watched him because I liked him as a person. Exactly. He was really cool, fun to talk to. I even offered to buy him his plane ticket to come to Japan because he kept talking about it, but he always talked about how poor he was. I'm like, I'll buy you a ticket, come on over.
Yeah, you can see that top one right there. It says $5. So yeah, some guy, he says, I made a video
Yeah.
talking about like, oh, you know, I find builds in Path of Exile too much clicking. My wrist was kind of hurting because I'm an old guy. And this guy said, hey, I'm also a fellow old guy. He related to me. He's like, hey, thanks for making that video. Here's $5.
That's so cool. Wow. You can't see that from here, but it's $5.
Yeah.
It's just cool to see that.
And it's cool when, you know,
I haven't seen that yet.
you make something where people support you and they want
No,
to.
it's
say
really,
thank you.
like I said before, money isn't everything, but that seems like the way that people appreciate you now.
Yeah.
Is by doing that, you know. Obviously, likes and comments is also helpful too. But it leads into the segue. So, how do you like the game? Is it worth it?
Path of Exile 2?
Yeah.
You can watch my 20-minute review video that I made a couple weeks ago.
Did I not watch that? Or? I watched a couple of the videos.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just.
But I also
joking.
watched your stream a couple times.
I'm just
too.
joking. The game is a good foundation for something that will be very good in the future. It is the campaign so far. So the campaign's only half done.
Okay.
The campaign's really good. But they still have to do the rest of the second half of the campaign and the end game right now, which if you are a big ARPG player, that's where you spend most of your time is you get to the end game and then you're just trying to like farm for good loot and kill bosses and stuff.
Okay.
And that is very bare bones. It's not there yet. Path of Exile 1 has this beautiful, complex end game that gives you so much player agency and so much choice about what you want to do and so many engaging different things that you can choose to do. And the Path of Exile 2 endgame just isn't there yet. Great foundation. Like I love the new skill system. The gear is pretty cool, but like, man, going back to Path of Exile 1 just had so many cool, intricate things that, you know, it's a 10-year-old plus game at this point. Really, really beautiful game. Path of Exile 2 is distinct. It does have a lot of things about it that make it a different game than PoE 1. I think PoE 1 is still much better than Path of Exile 2. PoE 2 is just, it's a better engine, like better graphics, better sound, but...
Okay, so somebody like me who's thinking about getting to a game, it's not hardcore as I used to be. Would you do Path of Exile 1, 2, or something else?
I mean, it
Diablo.
Depends what you're looking for. Oh, don't play Diablo games.
Diablo sucks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play Diablo, just play Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Okay, that's the last one I played was Diablo 2.
Yeah, so they did a refurbished version of it. They did like kind of they upgraded the graphics and they've added a couple of nice quality of life features to it. So you can go back and play Diablo 2 if you want to, and it's still perfectly fine.
I still got a copy of Diablo 3 somewhere.
Yeah, Diablo 3 was fun, but it just turned into like candy. It didn't really have that much depth to it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?